My dear friends in Christ Jesus, we have a very beautiful theme today for reflection. The new normal, fake or good news. In fact, this is a question that is posed before all of us. Whether the new normal is a fake or good news. So let's together try to find out what is the answer for this question. I come from a very traditional Catholic family in India. My mother started going to the church right from her young age, maybe when she was 12 or 13. And she is in her early 60s now. So for the past 50 years, she has been going to the church every day, that too in the morning. And that keeps her healthy as well, walking to the church in the morning. So after the lockdown, because of the pandemic, after the lockdown began, as usual, the churches were closed. So when I had my phone conversation with my mom, I asked her, how is the situation back at home? And she said, everything is so bad. There is a lot of restrictions, a lot of difficulties. But one thing for which she was very sad was that she was not able to go to the church in the morning for Mass. Something that she was doing for decades, right from her 12th or 13th age. She was really upset that she couldn't go to the church for Mass. So I tried to convince her, saying, this is a new normal. We have to adapt to the situation. You have to sit at home, and we have the television where the Mass is being telecasted at different times of the day. So you could choose any time of the day to watch the Mass, to pray. And she said, of course, you being a priest will, of course, try to console me. But me being a believer, before you became a priest, I have my faith, and it's really hurting for me to stay away from the church, and watching Mass on the television does not supplement my faith as I used to receive it when I go to the church. So I stopped convincing her, because it is very hard to convince her, because she has a stronger faith than I have. And then later, when I received the topic for today's novena from Father Joel, I began to reflect all these things together and try to find an answer. Now let's find out, what is this new normal? Is it a fake or good news? So after analyzing the situations and the experiences and the sayings of different people, I came to a conclusion. That is, new normal is a fake news, is a fake for those who take it as an excuse, whereas new normal is a good news for those who take it as a sacrifice. New normal is fake for those who take it as an excuse, and the new normal is a good news for those who take it as a sacrifice. Now, why I say that? Point number one. New normal, a fake news for those who take it as an excuse. Why? We know the situation of today demands us that we should be going online for everything, even this Mass. So we are being familiar to going online in everything that we do, everything. But the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how many of us were sincere to our religious practices, being faithful to these online spiritual activities? How many of us were faithful to it? Though it is something that we are expected to do because of the pandemic, how many of us took this as an excuse to distance ourselves from the religious practices? That's something that we need to ask ourselves. If so, if my religious practices have gone down, if I have distanced myself from the religious practices after the new normal or during this new normal, then I need to say to myself that this is indeed a fake news for me, because I have been excusing myself in the pretext of new normal from my religious practices. Point number 2, new normal is a good news for those who take it as a sacrifice. Now, for my mom's case, though it was not easy for her to watch the Eucharist in the television sitting at home, she had to do that. She had to do that. And most of you sitting here, I'm sure, were doing that sitting at your home. And it was not so easy for us to watch Mass from the television, something which was not normal for us. And it was indeed a sacrifice that we did. It was indeed a sacrifice that we did. We chose to sit at home to watch or to participate in the Eucharist because of the pandemic. That's the new normal. We had to do it. So we took up the sacrifice. And therefore, the new normal was a good news for all of us who took this new normal as a sacrifice. Though I was not able to go to the church, I took this as a sacrifice. Now, we need to accept this new normal as a sacrifice in our life today, not as an excuse. For all of us sitting here, and for all those who are participating in this Mass live, only one request I have for everybody. That is, if we have been excusing ourselves since the beginning of the new normal, let's take a decision today, right now, that from this moment, I begin to consider the new normal as a sacrifice. Therefore, I will never distance myself from the religious practices. I will always hold on to the possible means to continue my spiritual practices. Now, you might think this is something new normal which is only happening during our time. No. Let's go back to the gospel of today. The gospel of today, Jesus explains to his apostles, saying, he is asking them, you have to go now, go on your mission. But he said them, don't carry anything with you. Something which was not used to the apostles of Jesus. The first thing, they were not used to going somewhere without Jesus. Completely new normal. It was normal for them to be with Jesus, going around. It was fine. But going on a mission without Jesus, something new normal for them. And Jesus is asking them, now be ready to go on a mission. I am not going to be with you. This is a challenge for you. That was a new normal for the apostles. Jesus told them, and don't take anything that you usually take for your journey. Don't take anything, go empty-handed. So Jesus was preparing them for a new normal mission. And they trusted in Jesus. They trusted. It was indeed a sacrifice for them to go on a mission without Jesus, to go on a mission without any of these things that they usually carry during a mission journey. It was a new normal for the apostles. And they accepted it. They accepted it. They accepted it with a mind of sacrifice. And they were successful. They were successful. If me and you take this new normal as a sacrifice, be sure that all of us are going to be successful in our spiritual journey. And this is what we find in the life of Saint Vincent as well. To conclude, the man of the day, the man of these days, the man of our parish, Saint Vincent de Paul, he had the same spirit. For him, every day was new normal. Every day was a new normal. Because he completely trusted in God. He completely trusted in God. There are occasions where he was not knowing what to do the next day. There is nothing in the store. There is nothing in the kitchen to cook for the people. So what am I to do? How am I going to feed my people tomorrow? But he trusted. He trusted. He trusted beyond his faith. And God was there on time to help him. That is, considering everything as a new normal, that God will be with us. The very moment we begin to sacrifice, we begin to choose new normal as a sacrifice, God is going to bless us. As we are in the new normal, we have an answer. Whether the new normal is a fake news or a good news. I leave that question to you. I leave that question to you. Ask yourself, if the new normal is a fake news, it is a fake news if you have been excusing yourself. Or ask yourself, is it a good news? It is a good news if you have been taking it as a sacrifice. May God heal the world. May God bless all of us through the intercession of Saint Vincent de Paul. Amen.